3, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a long time coming, but we're here. This is not at the table. This is where we're going to have all the conversations your parents told you not to have. So, for a quick little starter, we're just going to introduce ourselves. My name is Ian Nixon. I'm a sophomore heading into my second year at Southeast Missouri State University. Man of faith. Believe in Jesus. Believe he saved me. And I'd say politically, I'm pretty moderate. That's my boy.
That was very good. My name is Karson Quinn. I'm also going to be a sophomore.
Yep.
But I'm a little bit across the pond. I'm at St. Charles Community College. Like Ian, I'm also a man of faith. Also a man of self-willing and believing in yourself and that you can accomplish what you put your mind to. So on the Not at the Table podcast, me and Ian are going to be discussing politics. We're both kind of, I'd say...
You're a little more right-leaning than I am.
Correct. I'd agree with that statement. I'm a little more right-wing than Ian. Not diehard right-wing, but definitely more right-wing than Ian. But we're only to be discussing politics, religion, but also a little bit of self-development.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So just really quickly, I just wanted to get into kind of how this podcast started. It was probably a couple months ago, about mid-June. Karson calls me up one day and says, let's make a podcast. I said, that's not a bad idea. What do you want to talk about? So we get together, we sit down for lunch one day, we start talking about our goals and what we want from it. And I just kind of realized that whenever I go to school, I talk to my friends and I want to have these political discussions with them. I want to hear about where they align religiously and this, that, and the third. And then every time I'd get shot down immediately, it would be, I don't care about that thing. I don't want to talk about it, etc. And I approached Karson with that idea, just kind of, hey, I think we need to talk about what we're not supposed to talk about. And what was your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's why it's called Not at the Table. Me and Ian had been discussing this for a while. Mm-hmm. I kind of, no offense, but I'm going to go on a little tangent here. I went off the face of the map.
Do whatever you got to do.
Worked real hard, got a job. I'm very into camera editing as well as video production, and so I bought a bunch of equipment, and I'm like, hey, I'm only live once. I'm gonna go ahead and try to live out my dream for a while. And I brought Ian. I was like, hey, dude, you are one of the most knowledgeable kids that are our age, whether it comes to religion, politics, and everyday just street knowledge. Ian's one of the best, and I was like, hey, man, we should get together, become a podcast, and see what we can do. So that's what this is.
I remember you saying, I wanted to talk to this girl about where she was religiously, and I just didn't know what to say. So if you want to kind of like share your experiences or just kind of what you went through.
Yeah. As a kid in college and definitely younger, it is very challenging. I think for a lot of people too, when it comes to whether that's talking about religion or just talking about something that's deeper than stupid dumb jokes. I love dumb jokes, don't get me wrong, they're 100%. They're totally cool, but there's also a time and place, and
absolutely
I feel like deep conversation, philosophies and ideas, and trying to better each other, whether that's learning or just life experiences and your failures, and expressing that to one another. I feel our generation really doesn't ever talk about that, and it's kind of hard to talk about. So that's why, whether it's religion, because Ian is much more diverse in religion than I am. I've kind of he's kind of been, we Bible study at least once a week usually.
Yeah, we try to.
We try to with our busy schedules.
Oh man.
And get together.
Yeah.
But that's what this podcast will be focusing on, is really what kids our age really should try to be more diverse and really should deep dive into.
Yeah. So I would just, you're giving me some high praise here, and I appreciate it. But I'm also a humble man, and I know that there's a lot of work to be done as far as where I want to be religiously and politically. I have a lot of thoughts, but I'm not the best at explaining them. So this is also kind of an attempt for me to improve those skills. Talking with you, talking with guests in the future, and talking into the void with whoever sees this podcast. So. That being said, do you want to just get right into it?
Yep.
Just real quick. All right. So this is a little test run. It's not going to be super long. It's not what our main goal is, but we just kind of want to give a little I guess teaser sort of thing of just kind of what this podcast is going to look like, to get a little idea of things. So, yesterday in the news, the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu, approved of his military moving to occupy all of the Gaza Strip. So I was just kind of wondering what you think, and then I'll share my thoughts of what could the pros and cons of these actions be. What are the short-term and long-term effects on the region between the two nations, and also just kind of where you stand maybe between the Israeli-Palestine conflict that's been going on really since before we were born.
Yeah.
Let's hear 'em.
Okay, yeah. I thought you were going to go into a little tangent, but we need a little backstory of what actually... Because kids our age, it's hard to pay attention to the news every now and then because you get the news is out to kill you and is the worst thing ever, which there is some downsides. Not all publicized news is good news. So we're going to talk about Prime Minister Netanyahu. He approved of his military moving to occupy all of the Gaza Strip. Now, for you those who don't know what the Gaza Strip is, I view it as basically the Washington, D.C. of kind of Israel and Palestine.
Really quick note. In this recording, Karson says that Hamas is the official army for Palestine. It is not. Hamas is a nationalist organization that is made up of Palestinians.
They just have Hamas, which is kind of like a third party, and they use tactics like guerrilla warfare. So it's not really set in stone what war should be. It is very so much kill the other guy and torture them as worst as possible. And so why is Netanyahu trying to take over the Gaza Strip is the real question, because there are, Ian, what are there? There are hostages. Yes. And there's thousands of lives at stake.
Yeah, it's not only that, but it's also a security thing from Israel's standpoint. When Netanyahu commented on it, he said way back when that he wanted the Gaza Strip simply for security reasons. Israel is not that big of a country. Palestine's not much bigger as well. But I would say that simply for Israel from that standpoint, that's kind of what it boils down to is just a security standpoint. And this was something that I realized really not too long ago. I started questioning, how did Israel come to be? And I don't think a lot of people in my area, my peers, might not know that. So I just wanted to kind of just very briefly just give the origins. So Israel had been pushing for a Jewish state. They wanted to become established as a nation among the world, and so it kind of been leading up to before World War II. Israel had been making that push, and then after World War II. Kind of the post-Holocaust guilt led to the United Nations wanting to establish Israel as a state. At first, I thought that Israel just became kind of as an apology to the Jewish people after World War II. That's not entirely the case, but the Holocaust did definitely help in Israel becoming a state. So in 1947, the UN met, and I believe in 1948 it became established as a country. So after that, Palestine wasn't a big fan of it because they were taking Israel's land, or Israel was taking Palestine's land away, and so Palestine and Israel have been having these conflicts. It is elevated multiple times into war. I think that this is about as gruesome as it has been, though. There's definitely been treaties in between, kind of breaks in the action, but this has been the most consistent. Not too long ago, there was a ceasefire, but that was broken, or most likely will be broken, with Netanyahu approving to occupy all of the Gaza Strip.
But plot twist, Netanyahu is not looking to occupy the Gaza Strip forever. This is only a temporary control of the Gaza Strip, which, in my opinion, how can you as a leader put all your civilians, not only your civilians, but your military's life at base just for a permanent,
and not even
taking control over? And now he said this will take many months, and he only wants to do it permanently. So if you're going to do it, how do you, as a leader, are going to go ahead and take partial control, just for a little bit, and then try to give it off to a third party? Which mind boggles me, E.
Well, I mean, what do you think he would do it for? And then I can kind of...
Now I
have an idea.
So he wants to hand it over to Arabian forces after he takes it over for a while. But on October 7th in 2023, Netanyahu is talking about that he wants to destroy Hamas, free his hostages, and prevent Gaza from posing future threats. And for those of you who don't know, Palestine is a small country.
Dude, we spent like 5-10 minutes on Google Maps just looking for it, and I don't think we found it.
Yeah, Palestine is, guys, roughly the same size as Delaware.
I didn't realize. Yeah, I had no idea how small Palestine was until I looked at it on a map.
And for Palestine, in my opinion, you have almost nothing to lose because Gaza is half of your population.
Mm-hmm.
Palestine has roughly a whole entire country population of 5 million, 2.5 million living at the Gaza Strip. Yeah. So if you view it in Palestine's, you're going to lose half of your country giving it up to Netanyahu and Israel. Now, I think this is going to be a bloody bath, if I'm going to be honest with you. Hamas really does not give two craps. They are definitely more of a take it to the extreme type of military. But if I'm in Netanyahu's place as a leader, I know you want to take back the hostages, but are we even able to confirm that the hostages are still alive?
We're getting a little bit conspiracy theorist on here, and all this is being said. We do understand that all conflict is bad. You know,
correct.
Any war between any two countries, regardless, is a bad thing, and this isn't to go without saying that Israel has starved children, has bombed children, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And I think that both sides are definitely in the wrong. I do believe that Israel has a right to live, but there was a right to exist, I should say. But there was definitely a time where they were taking things to the extreme, and I can't support that at all.
Yeah, I agree. I cannot second that.
What I can support is Israel having a right to exist as a nation, because that's that as it stands right now, that is the only Jewish nation in the world, and even then, it's not because Jerusalem is controlled. It's holy to 3 different religions. It's holy to the Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims. So all 3 of them, if you actually look at Jerusalem and you go in there, I haven't been, but I've seen a lot of videos. They're all mingling together. They all respect each other. And it's just a very beautiful sort of establishment in that all 3 religions can coexist. Whereas Palestine is a Muslim-controlled state, and if they were to take Israel, then it would just only become occupied by the Muslims, and that is not something I can support. So that's where I stand as far as between the Israel-Palestine conflict. I just kind of want to get an idea of where you kind of maybe stood on that as well, very briefly.
Yeah, I try to take a deep dive into the cabinet and Netanyahu and what we are trying to get out of. I do not second nor do I support flat out war. I think death is
I don't think anyone likes that.
I don't think anyone likes death. It is very challenging, especially coming, that's someone's son, that's someone's daughter, off at war. So I very much so when it comes to hostages, I agree. I want to get as many family members back as we can, but can we say that they're alive? Who knows? Now, do I believe that they are right taking over the Gaza Strip?
I wouldn't say so. Palestine occupies it.
Why do you think Israel should take it over? But they think it's a security base. They think it's a security problem.
I think Israel's doing just fine as they are.
Why should Palestine give it up is my question.
Palestine shouldn't.
Why should they? Why exactly? Why shouldn't Palestine try to attack Israel?
I think that's what the ceasefire was working up towards, was a compromise within the Gaza Strip. I don't know that for a fact, but that's just.
But what I'm saying is what's stopping Hamas from going all out and saying, "Hey, you're going to take half of our population, so why shouldn't we go out and try to destroy Israel?"
Because Israel is one of the best militaries in the world. All right, now we're going to kind of move on a little bit. We probably spent a little too much time. We've both got places to be.
So you can never spend too much time talking about.
No, I'm not saying you can, but for what our goal was with the podcast, we probably talked about that for a little too long. And that's not, again, like Karson said, that's not a bad thing.
This is a car ride podcast. When you're heading off to work and you're slamming in traffic, what better way to enjoy that than listening to me and Ian Nixon's political and hot takes on different categories in life. Next,
right. So we're gonna head on to religion. So this ties in with the politics. How should we as Christians feel about that conflict? Okay, I guess I'm going first because this guy's gonna look up an answer.
I'm not looking up an answer. I'm just verifying my answer that I have. And I'm going to ask Ian, why do you feel, as Christians, we should be into the Hamas and Israel battles?
I would say that we should be at the very least invested in it because Jerusalem is a holy city. It's remained mostly intact. I mean, 2,000 years of damage is 2,000 years of damage, but the concept behind all of those cities and how all of them are holy to those three main religions and how they're keeping that spirit alive. I believe it should be protected for that reason alone. Because there's not another city like that. I remember when I was in church as a little kid, this girl, she took a trip to Israel and she was talking about how Jews, Christians, and Muslims, they all work together on a farm and how beautiful it was to see them mingling together and sharing their ideas and just having a general respect for each other's religion. And like I said, there's nothing else like that in the world. I especially look at America. America is very divided, I would say, religiously. It's very open to mocking Christianity, and then I would also say that the whole idea behind the Jews controlling everything is ridiculous. I think that, just being someone who practices religion could get you in a lot of trouble, especially online and how fast the internet moves in the United States. And so I think that kind of having that idea of Jerusalem in that safe city for religious people to all practice together is beautiful, right? So as a Christian, that is how I feel about it. I believe that Israel has a right to live, but like I said earlier, they took things to the extreme when they started like actively bombing hospitals.
Yep, correct.
Starving children, what's the strategy called where it's like
it's like guerrilla warfare?
No, where it's like they cut off all of the like imports and exports.
Oh, okay.
So that the people starve. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
I'm blanking on what it's called.
Bombing and cutting off.
A siege. That's
siege,
what it is.
correct.
Yes,
a siege.
Yes. That's what it's called, yeah.
Yeah, when you're
Continue,
sieging
sorry.
basically entire populations of
people that have nothing to do.
That have nothing to do with war. And I bet you none of them, not a single one, wants to go to war.
Yes.
As Christians, I thoroughly do not support that.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean,
as Americans, we do. I catch myself doing this all the time. Is I wish I didn't complain as much, and I'm trying to be much better at it.
Uh-huh.
I get the opportunity to go on vacation a year and go out of the country and explore and see what people are truly living like. And I don't know if you guys have seen what the Gaza Strip currently looks like, but everything is bombed. It was once a beautiful place, and everything is now into rubble and been dismayed.
Mm-hmm.
So, me as a Christian, I take fuel, humility, and I'm humble that I get to live in this life and I get to rest my pillow on my head on a pillow every single night and put my head into a bed. But I also believe that as Christians, it's the land of the Bible.
It is.
Events happen in the Old Testament and the New Testament. It's all coming from Jerusalem. And knowing what happens in this region helps Christians better understand Scripture and real world texture of truly what's happening.
Right.
But if Israel was really taking the Christian point of view to this, what should they do?
Well, I would say that you talk about Israel and this is where it all happened. I would say that Jerusalem, yes, but from what it seems like, a lot of Israel has been the territory is historically accurate, but it's not the same Israel as the one in the Bible. It's not the same Israel that God promised to Abraham. It's not the same Israel that King David took over. It's a different country. I would say that most of Jerusalem has remained intact, but overall Israel, it's not the same. So I think that the idea of people saying, "Oh, well, we should protect Israel because God calls us to," that is not Israel anymore. So that's my take on it. in that regard, I still believe that it's a nation and it has a right to defend itself and it has a right to be protected. It has a right to receive aid. However, I don't think that the idea of Christians saying that it's the same Israel from the Bible is it's applicable in this situation.
Do you second the idea that Israel needs to tone back and
Yes.
relax?
100%. And they definitely have. They definitely have. But there was a time, like I said, they were sieging the city. They were bombing hospitals, and they were specifically targeting those areas. And we saw that very briefly with Iran as well, because Iran went and bombed the cities, but then the U.S. bombed their nuclear facilities. And Iran, we haven't really heard much from them since.
Now that's kind of scary, but I feel like we should be hearing back from them. But
frankly, I'm not too worried about.
Yeah, here in Missouri,
I'm not too worried about any country that operates under Sharia law developing nuclear weapons anytime soon. Because when you're saying that half the population is less than people, you're not getting anywhere as a society.
Yeah, it's not going too far.
No, definitely.
And you don't have a lot of people backing you up when it comes to other countries.
Not outside. They've got their inner circle and they're happy enough.
Yeah, their inner circle is a very interesting circle as it bees.
Oh yeah. All right. Well,
Ian.
Yes.
Me and Ian are about to hit our 20s, guys.
Oh, man.
You don't know me and Ian. Ian is an old guy, old donkey right here.
I'm like 4 months older than him.
4 months older than me.
Calling me an old
We are
donkey.
getting ready to hit our 20s. And
Yes.
so for self-development, I feel lost, dude. I really do.
Do you?
I do feel lost. And I don't know how you feel about it. Do you feel lost at all?
What do you mean by lost?
I don't know what I want to do or accomplish in life. I'm hoping a lot of good years ahead of me.
Let's hope.
And so I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it talked about your 20s. Now, I know Mel Robbins supports that you should live in your 20s, go to a new city, go to a different country, and just explore. Live out your 20s and see what they're all about, because you will never get them back. But I've also heard the idea from Chris Williamson and Alex Hormozy that your 20s should be all work, all gas, no breaks. Not really getting any friends, but rather than doing that, developing yourself and becoming the best version of yourself. Now, Ian, would you agree with Mel Robbins, or do you agree with Hormozy and Chris Williamson on how you should live your 20s?
That's a good question. I don't listen to podcasts, which I think is kind of funny because I'm making one right now. But it is something that I know that people can relate to, as far as like, I know that there's an artist that makes music that doesn't listen to the type of music he makes. So I kind of relate there. But to answer your question, I would probably agree with Mel Robbins a little bit more.
So you do not believe someone in their 20s should work.
You should absolutely get a job, because you can't be going into your 30s and broke.
Well, I'm saying you got to get a job at some point. But what I'm saying is developing yourself, as in the sense of whether your passion is to start a business, or you should get a job, save a little money. Then all of a sudden I'm in Greece for the next year.
Yeah. I still agree with him. Because I have a job right now and I'm able to enjoy life. And if this is what I'm looking at for the next couple of years as I go through college, as I work towards getting my degree, I would love it. This life has been amazing. It's blessed me with so many amazing people, amazing experiences. And something like this, I'm excited to start up. Oh, didn't realize we were blowing it up as well.
That's ironic. You're talking about blowing it up, and we're talking about this.
But no, I just I like the idea. I can respect someone who wants to work through their 20s. Someone like this guy right here. Every time I would ask him to do something for like a 2 or 3 month stretch, I'm working. I can't do that, and it's crazy. But then every time I come over to his house, he's always sitting on a computer over there, and he's working on his YouTube videos. And that's a work ethic that I can absolutely respect. It's something that I personally don't know if I could do. I don't think I could put that much time into 15 minutes of content. But that's why I'm making a podcast, because it's easier to edit. But no, it's it definitely goes both ways, and I think that there's no right answer. I think it's whatever works for you. I think that if you want to spend more of your younger life having fun and creating new memories and making a bunch of experiences. My mom spent a semester abroad. She toured Europe, and she loves it. She still talks about it to this day, and I think that idea would be amazing. I would love to do something like that as well, but I can also understand if you want to work harder and kind of set yourself up for a better future. I can totally understand that perspective as well. So
now I'm very far right on this.
What are your thoughts?
I do feel that not only have my parents, but also lifestyle and in childhood have kind of put me in this work motto.
Mm-hmm.
I've always second that everyone should play a sport, not only one sport, but you should play as many as you can when you're going out through high school. Really learn what work ethic is, making friendships, and going from there. Now,
I would say though, would you also say like every kid should join the band?
100%. I feel like you should be involved. You should be involved in something.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah, you got to.
I sports are cool. If you want to do band, bro, I'm all for it. I play the guitar.
Yeah.
I try to pick up the trumpet. I'm not good. I play the saxophone. I'm all for it. Now I'm not very good at it, but
I think
I love. No, seriously. Like if you're gonna do something, get involved. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Get involved.
I think that your parents, if there are any parents listening to this who have younger kids, make sure that they pick up an interest in at least one instrument. Make sure they play at least one sport. Make sure they do like at least one drama club or something like that. Just make sure that they find what they want, what they like, and what they enjoy doing, and B, find a community. I think that the idea, because I did all of those, and I found myself mostly resonating with people who played sports, but I'm not every person. I think that everyone has their own experiences, and if you resonate more with being with fellow kids in the band, absolutely. If you resonate more with kids being in drama club, absolutely. It goes every which way. But finding that community.
Find a band of brothers. That's what I was saying.
A band of brothers.
Or sisters, whichever one.
Yep, absolutely.
But a band of brothers, someone that you can count on when you're going through the thick and thin, and they can also turn on to you. Now, do you think that society gets it wrong about work ethic? Because I know many kids our age, doom scrolling is a huge thing. And even I've done it plenty of times.
Everyone gets the bug. I think that the work ethic that we have right now, we're Gen Z.
Yeah, I believe. Bunch of 19-year-old
Gen
Zers.
As that stands, it could definitely be some improvement. I catch myself just kind of scrolling through, watching YouTube videos, just not really doing much with my time. A little more than I would like to admit. And if my mom and dad are watching, they would absolutely second it. But just getting that work ethic instilled in me. I'll always remember after my sophomore year, my dad said, "You need a job." And I was just like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." And he goes, No, you need a job." And that's just kind of what I've been doing since. And I think that it's important as well to have that idea instilled in you early to get a job, save up money, just lay the groundwork because
it's not, but it's, I agree with what you're saying, it's not always a job. What I'm telling is if you're going to do something, do it at 110%. Whatever you choose. Money is nice and good and all, but how I view this, I'm not trying to be like, cutting you.
It's good to have
a job, but I disagree. Yes. I do believe if you get a job or whatever you want to do in life, do it at 110%. How I view this life that is given, I think it's beautiful, but we have one opportunity, bro, one shot.
That's true.
God has blessed you just this one time, in many times throughout your life, but the odds of you being born are like 1 in quintillion bajillion. So if you were not waking up every single morning with a smile on your face, changing your demeanor, because I know, dude, I worked at a job, and dude, if I could tell you the amount of, like a corporate job basically is what I worked at.
Yeah.
And I could tell you the amount of people that were piss poor attitudes, always pissed to come to work and always angry. Bro, like that infuriated me, and that's why I'm really starting to dive deep into this video editing, because I realized, dude, I do not want my life to be anything like that.
No.
Because when I see these dudes depressed and angry all the time, I got one of this, and I know that they wish they would have chased their dreams. And even if I'm living on a couch, bro, I'm still going to chase my dreams until the day that I die. because I know God has blessed not only me but you with the ability to come on here and make this type of video. So what I view this as is when you're working up, is it better to be an overskilled 30-year-old with no friends because you worked away your 20s, or an underdeveloped 30-year-old with tons of friends?
Underdeveloped 30-year-old. Because if you're meeting all of these people hopefully aren't idiots. And these people can help lift you up. And all of a sudden, you're a developed 30-year-old with friends. You know? I think that you should be able to have a job right out of college or in your early 20s. And that can get you to that position to where you are 30, you have friends, and you have job experience. And I think that would be valued on top of having a college degree. That's not as valued as it was, but I think that that's still important depending on which line of work.
But why do you think you'd be developed? Why do you think you'd all of a sudden be developed when you have friends?
You've the friends and the job experience to educate you.
So you're going to tell me someone that is 30 years old that, let's say they go abroad and they're just working as a barista over there.
Okay.
As opposed to a 30-year-old that has been crushing it his whole life because he just dedicated all that time to working. Now you're going to have friends. Mm-hmm. But you're going to have a skill set that is unfathomably larger than someone that has not been through the pain and struggle that you've been through.
Personally, I think that it's whatever works for you, because there's still people
you got to pick a side, bro. We can't we can't be neutral in everything.
I'm still taking the underdeveloped 30-year-old.
Okay.
Because there's people at SEMO who were in their 40s working towards their degree. And they had job experience, but it wasn't anything crazy. But because they were showing that work ethic and because they were working to get that degree in that late stage in their life, well, not late, but in that middle stage of their life, it shows that you still can achieve something regardless of where you start. And I can guarantee you that person had a great time in his 20s and his 30s. And I think that if he is living stable, if he is doing everything that he needs to do to support himself, to possibly support a family, I think that he is in a great spot as far as where he's working towards. And I know that you disagree.
Oh, I know you disagree. Very, very well disagree.
But that's simply my belief on it, that you should definitely enjoy as much of your life as possible. But yeah, I don't know. We'll hear your far right thoughts on this.
Very far right. Money's not everything. I don't condone money is the end all be all in this world. But I do think it can change a lot of things. Mm-hmm. I've always viewed it as I want to be the stepping stone, the guy that, your great grandkids are like, hey, great grandpa was the one that helped us achieve all this. Now I agree with if you've ever heard the saying that hard times create hard men create soft times create soft men. Mm-hmm. I thoroughly believe in that, and
you kind of butchered that, but concept.
But it's a concept. Yeah, the concept I just visibly grazed over it, but I do believe in the concept of that. But I also believe in the idea that to chase your dreams, you're going to have to make sacrifices, and it will take more than 4 hours of work a day. It will be you sitting at a computer or you out, whatever it may be, door-to-door sales, doing it 10 hours a day and trying to crush it and learn, as opposed to just meandering through life and never developing any type of social, real world skills. Now, I'm not saying as a 30-year-old you're not going to have friends if you're overskilled, but you're not going to have the experiences that someone had when they're underdeveloped. That's how I view it.
What did our teacher always say? It's not about what you know.
It's about who you know.
It's about who you know.
Which is very well. Yeah. But if you know a lot, then you know everyone that knows a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're overskilled, you're probably also hanging out with overskilled people.
Could be, but the question was no friends.
So, you guys think you'd be underskilled or overskilled?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have no friends if you're overskilled, but you definitely have less memories.
No, I get it.
Well,
but
Ian.
Yeah.
Shake my hand, man.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
That was a great first episode. Had a lot of fun. That's about all the time we got for now. You got places to be. I got places to be. Got people to see.
Oh, God Gosh, dang, Ian.
Yeah.
And you got a rap career ahead of you.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you again for tuning in. Hopefully the next episode will be up shortly. But yeah, excited to get the show on the road. First, any final thoughts?
What was that rhyme that you just said? I wasn't trying to one up you. No, I'm joking.
You probably could.
No, I can't, bro. Stairs, pears. I got too many hairs. All right, ladies. I was just joking. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you guys listening seriously. And as always, take care and have a blessed day.